Our journey begins. It is day 120, September 28, 2024. I'm going to be diving into gathering a sort of comprehensive overview of 180 different languages around the world. And some of these aren't necessarily languages per se, per like country or that type of thing. Some of them could be musical related. But I'm trying to get an overall understanding of how languages currently function. One of the comments that I got recently was that I should just learn all existing languages. And while I don't think being able to learn all existing languages is going to actually further my development because that's going to train my brain to think certain ways the way that language already functions, I think getting a global understanding of how languages are currently working is going to be very, very helpful. All right, so I basically have a huge list of about 35 different aspects of each language that I would like to dive into. This has been generated by AI, so if there are any major corrections, please feel free to drop them in the comments. And then I was also going to show you all of this is in relation to my new language development, and these are all of the various components that I have for that, which is going to be following all of the aspects of natural language, syntax, vocabulary, knowledge graph aspects, possessives, decision-making frameworks, quantum, the ability to evolve, the expressive power, the pattern recognition, so many different aspects. And so as I've been going through that, I've been learning a lot about other languages. And although I don't think one exclusion to languages that would be in here is stuff like heptapod B or the language of Moraine from the Culture series, or the language from the Dispossessed book. Those sort of fictional aspects are not actually involved, are not included in this list. And as you can see, let's just dive into it. I have the note-taking ability here. I have the AI as well as the vowel chart. Because I am new at linguistics, so I'm going to need to be able to see what things actually sound like. And yeah, the notes and then the various languages. So I don't think starting with the math related aspects is going to be super helpful, because those are sort of derived from language itself. Like, it's not like you're going to go around doing natural language of algebra, but it's still important to have in here, which is why I have it. But let's come back to that actually. So the first sort of English related is legal English. So it basically would just encompass aspects of English, but specifically related to legality aspects. So it's basically going to have a specific type of jargon. And so most of this information related to a lot of the information that I asked about will likely be related to the overall English language. So I don't think that's going to be as helpful. Let's start with one of these languages from a country. And I apologize, I'm very likely not going to get the pronunciation of these things correct. So the Basque country is an autonomous community in northern Spain known for its unique language, culture, and history. Have a distinct identity that sets them apart from the surrounding, is known as Euskara in a language isolate, meaning it is not related to any other language family. It has various dialects and is spoken by approximately 750,000 people. The culture, geography, history, economy. So some of these we'll go through this one as an example of I'll probably highlight these the first time through. So the number of syllables. How many distinct syllables exist in the language's phonetic inventory? How complex is the syllable structure? So relatively simple syllable structure. It's primarily consisting of open vowels. CV, include a variety. So, and some of this may not be as helpful. So Let's open up and go to the go to Wikipedia, make sure we have overall understanding. All right. So they have the 5 primary vowels, short or long, and they have um, the long vowels as well, the short vowels, long vowels. They do have diphthongs as well. Vowel harmony is not as prominent feature, but there are tendencies in certain dialects where vowel sounds may influence frequency of vowels. In terms of frequency, the vowel A tends to be the most commonly used vowel. I mean, that's pretty much the same as most languages. The Basque language has a diverse consonant inventory. So these are the various consonants. Now, I have up here the consonant chart. So let's start by diving into what does that one sound like? It sort of looks like a 3. So this is where it gets tough because there are so many different consonants. Now, for my current language development, I don't know, is it that one? I've narrowed most of this down to some basic ones. A lot of these distinctions aren't super vital, and I think a solid language doesn't need all of the possible consonants because a lot of them can be somewhat similar. And I can't seem to find that exact one. The closest one on here on this consonant IPA chart is this one,
The, the,
which I don't know that is actually a direct correlation. Well, let's try another one if we can. And I'm not seeing them exactly. So a lot of these symbols aren't correlating to what's written in Notion. And that is going to be, oh, here it is. This was the symbol I wanted to try out.
sha, a sha.
Sh, sh. It's basically a single syllable for sh. Types and phonotactic rules. Euskara has specific phonotactic rules that govern how consonants combine. Consonant clusters are typically restricted to certain positions. Frequency, so a lot of this stuff is general. I'm looking for specific, unique ways of doing things and that sort of thing. Basque has both voiced and voiceless stops. So the stops, are they clearly placed in here? No. So this is where it does come down to, okay, here's the stops. Yeah, so
Up, at, ah, at,
so those are the various ones we're looking at here, like the K there. So a lot of okay, so those are stops, and then I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say fricative. Includes voiceless fricatives. So such as F. So these seem to be similar, except the latter being pronounced like the Scottish la. I'm not sure how that is pronounced. Yeah, I'm not sure. Liquid consonants, which are the laterals. So that's going to be no. I'm looking for the lateral, like the R.
Ra, ra. Ra, ra. Ra, ra.
Yeah. So that's specifically the trill, the laterals, lateral fricative. All right.
Ra, ara.
It is interesting how a lot of these are slightly different. Now, the vowel patterns, and let me make sure that this volume is high enough so that you'll be able to hear the sounds coming out.
Sha, asha.
Probably heard that.
Sha, asha.
There we go. All right. Sorry if that made you jump. Consonant clusters are allowed, particularly at the beginning of a word. Allophony, there are regular variations in pronunciation. Overall, the phonetic structure is characterized by a rich combination. The Basque uscata is often considered to possess a unique and melodic quality that many find pleasant. However, some may perceive aspects as harsh due to its complex phonetics and certain guttural sounds. Obviously, that perception can be sort of subjective. The rhythm is typically stress timed, meaning that the rhythm is organized around stressed syllables rather than a regular beat. Stressed syllables tend to occur at regular intervals, creating a cadence that vary. So let me write that down. Stressed versus so there's rather than a regular beat. Stress is usually fixed on the penultimate syllable of the word, although there are, and what is the penultimate syllable? The penultimate syllable is the second to last. So most of my words are going to have 1, 2, 3, or 4 syllables. So I'm not exactly sure. Given that, hmm, given that New Lang is going to have 1 to 4 syllable words, mostly in the 1 to 2 syllable range, would it be better to just do a regular rhythm? Intonation serves to convey meaning and emotions, with pitch, accent playing a crucial role. The pitch of the voice may rise or fall to indicate questions. That makes sense. That's pretty common. Prefixes are relatively rare compared to suffixes. For instance, the prefix ez can negate verbs, transforming egen to do into again not to do. Okay. Suffixes are more, so that's extremely common. I'm planning on having that. Suffixes are more prevalent and versatile. They are inflectional suffixes. These are used to convey grammatical function. To is used to form the past tense. Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's common. Derivational, the suffix is added to verbs to form agent nouns, such as irakuri, to read, becoming irakuril, reader. Okay. Infixes are particularly uncommon, but do appear in certain dialects. For example, some dialects may insert an infix to convey nuances in aspect or intensity, but such instances are rare and not widely documented. New words are often formed through compounding by combining 2 more words. For example, etex and ondo, well, can combine to form exe ondo, a place near a house. And well can combine a place near a house. I don't know if that is for real or not. Compounding is quite productive, allowing for the creation of numerous combinations. This flexibility. Now, for what I'm thinking for compounding is having an affix in the middle of the two words, so it's clear that you are actively trying to combine the two words into one word. That's basically the idea. Because how would you know exactly, unless you memorized exiondo, a place near a house, you wouldn't necessarily know that's the exact definition by the combination of house and well. The Basque language, or Euskara, is unique in that it is not derived from Latin or Greek. Unlike most other languages in Europe, its root words or stems are primarily indigenous origin and are not derived from Indo-European language family. The inventory of root words consists of several hundred unique root words. Affixes, for example, the suffix k can indicate plurality. This is something, what is the best way to do plurality? Suffix or via context? If doing suffix, do we use a CV or something? Because adding an S or a K or something to the end doesn't always work. Nouns and verbs are inflected for case, number, and tense. Compounding, overall structure. The standard root word order is SOV, subject, object, verb, which is pretty common. What is the commonality of SOV, VOS, etc., ranked by usage? I want to see what is the most common. So SOV, which is what this is the most common, 44%. Okay, let me write that down. SOV, 44%. SVO is 9%. And I'm just going to do the next one, VSO, which is, oh wait, hold on, 42 and 9. After that, you start getting into very uncommon, 3, 1, and 0.3. Yeah, right there. The sentence structure is relatively complex. It allows for a variety of sentence types. Subordinate clauses can be embedded. The Basque language employs context heavily to resolve ambiguity. Time is expressed through verb conjugation, which indicates tense. So this is where some of these numbers, I don't know how accurate AI has been at actually gathering the correct factual information, but apparently it estimates their lexicon is about 100,000 words, which is pretty decent. Refers to specific type of Basque white wine, while Pinsko denotes a type of snack or appetizer. Semantics is the study of meaning. Polysemy, a single word having multiple meanings that are related by extension. For example, the word bank can refer to the side of a river or a financial institution. So this is what I'm going to attempt to avoid, is any opportunity for polysemy. If you have an institution that serves the function of a bank, I would like to create a unique word for that. Homonymy, words that sound the same or are spelled the same but have different meanings. Flying mammal or a piece of sports equipment, yes, I'm going to avoid those. Figurative language, I'm going to avoid those. Ambiguity is common in language, plays a crucial role. For example, the word gizon can mean man or human. The surrounding words clarify the intended meaning. Gizon bat, a man, versus gizon guzitak, all humans. The Basque language is unique in that this language is isolate, meaning it has no known relatives. Spatial orientation uses an extensive system of spatial references that may shape how speakers conceptualize spaces. For example, it often employs absolute terms, north-south, rather than relative terms, which could lead to a heightened awareness of geographical orientation. So this is something when we do create the spatial orientation, what will we do for that? I already know this is a thing. Lera Boroditsky has talked about this, that there's varying aspects of how people, which basically changes cognition. That's why I think there is power in what we're trying to do here, and so and why. So I'm not exactly sure, but maybe we'll get more information. Heightened awareness of geographical location. Yeah, I don't know if that's needed. I would think that a heightened awareness of spatial would be valuable relative to important things. Temporal constructs, treatment of time can also differ from more linear languages, has various ways to express past, present, and future. Abstract versus concrete thinking. The language's vocabulary and grammatical structures might influence whether speakers lean more toward abstract or concrete thinking. I think that's pretty common. So the sociolinguistics exhibits significant variation across different social contexts. Informal settings is typically used to ensure clarity and mutual understanding. In contrast, informal settings may feature regional dialects. That's very common. The Basque language is particularly strong in expressing cultural identity and local nuances. The Basque language, known as Euskara, has undergone significant evolution over time. One of the most significant shifts occurred during the Franco regime in Spain, when the use of Euskara was suppressed in favor of Spanish. This led to a decline in the language's everyday use. However, after Franco's death, there was a resurgence in interest and efforts to standardize and promote it. Modernization has also influenced, particularly through the incorporation of new vocabulary concepts such as computer and internet. Additionally, the establishment of the Euskaltzaindia Royal Academy of the Basque Language in 1919 played a crucial role in the language's evolution by standardizing its grammar and orthography. Interesting. So in 1919, they standardized. Overall, the Basque language has transformed from a suppressed regional language to a symbol of cultural identity. So, thinking about identity and how significant language plays a role in that. And there's a lot of different thoughts you could have about that, about universalism or about wanting to keep those regional aspects and whatnot. For example, the word etexia means house, but when you say my house, it forms nire ex etkia, where nire is the possessive form. Another complexity arises from use of which alter the ergative case. In many sentences, the subject of an intransitive verb is treated differently from the subject of a transitive verb. I am going home. In the transitive case, Mikhail sees the house. Interesting. I'm not totally sure how that works. In terms of vocabulary, Euskara has a rich lexicon influenced by its unique history. For example, motil and neska. Overall, while Euskara has its own set of rules, complexity, the Basque language Euskara employs an alphabetic writing system based on the Latin script. This system has evolved over time. Historically, the Basque language does not have a standardized writing system. However, in 1919, they got one. For example, the use of the letters TX to represent the sound of that, similar to ch in English, is a characteristic feature of the Basque alphabet. Similarly, the letter ñ is used to denote the ñ sound, which is common in Basque but absent in many other languages. Interesting. Okay. Apparently it's absent in many other languages. I wonder if um don't they have the IPA chart down here? Languages, cuisine. I'm I'm not sure. Pronunciation. Oh, okay, okay, here we go. So it said yeah. Let's see what this sounds like.
Nya, anya.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much the same thing. Over time, the evolution of the writing system has also included the incorporation of diacritical marks, such as the acute accent to indicate stress and vowel quality. Translation from the collective of regional variations has a largely phonetic writing system, meaning that words are generally spelled as they are pronounced. There are some regular spelling rules, such as the use of the letter H, which is often silent. For example, the word iri has a silent H, while Allah uses H. Hala. However, there are also irregularities in spelling. For instance, the letter X represents the sound sh, as in shahara. The use of diacritics, such as the acute accent, can indicate stress or vowel length, as seen in EZ. No. Overall, there's predominantly familiar. Okay, the Basque language, like many languages, is capable of accommodating mathematical and logical expressions. For instance, the term addition is guztitzeko and subtraction is kentketa. Kentketa. In programming, while specific programming languages typically use English. Euskara can be adapted for singing and music as it possesses a variety of phonetic. The traditional Basque songs, known as versos, demonstrate the language's lyrical capability. The natural intonation and rhythm of Euskara can create pleasing musical phrases. For example, songs like Ziktoria Zori exemplifies how the language is structured. Rich dialectic variation, vowel harmony. This feature irregular absolute structure, influence on other languages. Spanish and French have borrowed terms due to proximity and historical interaction. Preservation efforts is deeply intertwined with the culture. Politically, the arrival of post-Franco in terms of religion. It's not so. Apparently, number of syllables is 105. Number of vowels is 70. So I don't know where it got these numbers from. I really do not think that. Um, I mean, this is sort of a lot. That's definitely not 70. Um, Consonant 63. That makes more sense. It is a lot. Does it? Does they offer a number here? No. Okay. Not yet established. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Languages isolate. Language learning ability is high. Word compounding, SOV. The language is highly ambiguous. No. It is an ancient language, phonetic writing system, regular orthography. They write left to right, which is the standard. All right, that was the first language. As you can see, there's a lot of information. I think a lot of it's going to be somewhat consistent. All right, the Hawaiian culture. The Hawaiian language, Olelo, is an official language of Hawaii alongside English. What may help is getting um, Hawaiian language. Let's see. Um, yeah, they got some interesting Honolulu. They got a bunch of diphthongs. They have short and long diphthongs. Interesting. Lots of vowels. Cuisine, festivals, tradition, nature. It's a relatively simple syllable structure, CV, typically encompassing 13 letters and 5 vowels. So I think it's somewhat making that up, but the vowels are those, and they use a macron. Diphthongs, Hawaii has a few diphthongs. Y, I. Wait, I could probably listen to them. Yeah, where are the diphthongs? Let's do AI. Is that one? Hmm. Okay, here's one. Frequency of vowels. Vowels are used frequently. A is used 20% of the time. Interesting. Distribution of vowels. So A seems to be. I think I should write that down. The common distribution of vowels of vowel sounds in languages is relatively consistent, and therefore should therefore the ones that are currently used the most should be used for the more frequent sentiments in New Lang. The Hawaiian language has a relatively small consonant inventory, even though it is relatively small. Interesting. Interesting. Types Hawaiian follow specific phonotactic rules. Consonants can appear at the beginning of a syllable or after a vowel, but are not allowed to cluster. Okay, no clustering. I think I am allowing clustering because some clusters are totally fine. The only permissible clusters are when a glottal stop occurs after a vowel. Okay. Is typical structure just a constant of a vowel or just a vowel? I don't think I was going to have just vowels as a syllable. There's only 5 anyway, so there wouldn't be very many syllables you can make out of it. So yeah, p, k, h, m, n, l, w, a, e, o, u. Allophony, the pronunciation of Hawaiian vowels can vary slightly based on their position within a word or syllable. For example, the vowel A may be pronounced more open or closed depending on the surrounding sounds. Overall, the phonetic rules of the Hawaiian contribution to its melodic and rhythmic quality. Generally considered pleasant and melodic, its euphonic quality stems from its phonetic structure, which includes a limited number of consonants and a predominance of vowels, resulting in smooth, flowing sounds. The phonological characteristics often described as musical. Additionally, the use of glottal stops. Can I find an example of can I
Aloha, my name is Keone. The Y in the word city. E. O.
Okay, interesting. Now, what does it actually sound like?
During this time of trouble. So during this troubled times with the virus, pilikia, pono ka ko e ahunui I ke ia wā o pilikia.
It is interesting. They have a lot more vowels than consonants, and I do see how that makes it very much sound like the Hawaiian language that I'm used to hearing. Does that actually? I think that's why I'm mostly doing not consonant clusters. But I don't know. Yeah, I think because I'm going to be mostly using, I don't know. I guess basically I'm going to write down a higher ratio of vowels to consonants makes for a nice sounding language. Any way that we can implement this. The rhythm, stress, and intonation is primarily a syllable timed language, meaning each syllable typically receives an equal duration, flowing rhythm. Stress often falls on the second to last syllable of a word. The intonation to convey meaning and emotion. Affixation plays a significant role in both inflection. Ka is used for definite articles, similar to the. Ho, this prefix is used for causative verbs, and pal or something denotes a complete action. It is commonly used in verbal forms. Na, his, her. E, used to form verbs from nouns. Komui. Infixes does not commonly use infixes. Inflection. Adding the prefix ke to a verb can indicate a present tense action. Derivation. For instance, the prefix can be added to adjectives to form a verb that means to make or become in relation to that adjective. Overall, Hawaiian utilizes a relatively simple but effective system of affixation. New words are formed through compounding. For example, island plus district combines to form administration, division. Oh, island. Okay. I see. District combines island and district. The root word inventory is derived from the Latin root. I don't think it understood. In Hawaii, root words often consist of unique Polynesian origins with a focus on simple syllabic structures. Hawaiian modifies root words primarily through the use of affixes. Hawaiian word standard VSO. I'm already forgetting. So VSO is actually one of the least common. However, this word order is flexible. Interesting. Hawaiian sentences structure tends to be relatively simple. Sentences also follow a VSO order. Extensive use of particles to indicate relationships between clauses and modifiers to form the nouns they modify. Hawaiian languages relies heavily on context, and in Hawaiian, time is expressed using specific markers rather than verb conjugation. The language employs particles such as e for future tense, wa for past tense, and ke for present tense. Aspect is indicated through these particles. The Hawaiian lexicon consists of about 1,500 words. The word aloha encompasses meanings of love, affection, peace, compassion, and mercy, while Hoana means family, including extended family and friends, emphasizing the importance of community. Semantics, blasphemy, ambiguity is quite common in language. Okay, do you need to? Anyway, I'm talking to the AI. Thought it was answering the question in general, not related to this language in particular. For instance, in formal settings, so they're good at expressing emotions, has undergone significant changes. Overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy in 1893. This period saw a decrease in native speakers, and modernization has led to the adaptation of Hawaiian into contemporary contexts. For example, computers often referred to as kumokoi, while combines traditional Hawaiian roots with modern terminology. One of the official languages that I'm going to promote, the Hawaiian language is generally considered to have a simpler grammatical structure compared to many other languages. It has a relatively small phonetic inventory. In terms of grammar, is characterized in the use of its reduplication, a process where a word is repeated to alter its meaning or to indicate intensity. For instance, the word lua means two, but lualua can mean a pair or two of something. Okay. Repetition means sort of additional contemplation or intensity of something. Lualua. Do we want to... I think intensity will be an affix. Hawaiian utilizes particles to convey nuances and meaning. For example, e is often used to indicate an imperative or a suggestion, meaning go. Overall, while Hawaiian has its complexities. Writing system. Initially, the written form was relatively simple, but evolved over time to include the diacritical marks. The introduction of written Hawaii allowed for the preservation of traditional stories. The Hawaiian language has a relatively simple the word add is oi and subtract is kala. However, the language may require the incorporation of English terms. Traditional Hawaiian music often uses the language in chants, songs, and the vowel-rich structure can create beautiful melodies. For instance, the song Ola is a well-known piece that showcases the language's musicality and emotional expression. Vowel-rich language, lengthy words. Yeah. That is so interesting. So the more the affixes used, the longer the words, which is why prioritizing specificity in the New Lang lexicon is important. Aloha spirit. The word aloha embodies no consonant clusters. Hmm. I don't remember in what case was I using consonant clusters. And will that be for just at the beginning? And cannot be reused, similar to VC. Loan words from other languages. The Hawaiian language is deeply intertwined with the culture, religion. See, here it has totally different numbers, but I think I at least got some of the information that is important to know about Hawaiian. Okay, next. Esperanto. Esperanto is a inspiring language because it goes for a similar thing as what the language I'm trying to create, except instead of thinking, okay, how can we like enhance the way that humans communicate in general? He was just trying to solve, okay, how can all humans have the ability to communicate with one another? And I think if we're just going for that, yeah, it was Zamenhof. If we're just going for that, then we don't really need anything because we're just going to have AI that can translate between people in different languages. So that specific need isn't really imperative. I think the imperative part is having a form of language that you can use to express more complex ideas and ideas of coordination. And again, all those various aspects of the language that I've been working on that I've been talking about the last uh, several days here. A highly regular grammatical structure with no exceptions. Yes. Vocabulary is primarily derived from Latin, Germanic, and Slavic. Phonetics has a phonetic spelling system, global reach, conclusion, relatively 5 vowels and 23 consonants, total of 28 distinct syllables. So it doesn't know how to calculate syllables. Unless it must think that a syllable is just either a vowel or a consonant. It doesn't understand syllables can be CV. Vowels in Esperanto, A, E, I, O, U. Um, so then it goes through the various types of consonants in Esperanto, which I should probably figure out. So b, z, z, ch, d, k, la, k, h, j, y, y, j, sh, j, k, l, m, n, p, r, s, sh, to, t, v, z, I, I, ow, a, o, oi, ui, no, a, e, e, o, u. Okay, yeah. So they have some little bit differences, but for the most part, pretty similar. Um, Voiced consonant clusters. Okay, wait. So all consonants can occur as a single sound. Consonant clusters include initial, final, generally limited and should not exceed 2 consonants in initial or final positions. Vowel patterns have 5 vowels. Diphthongs. Strict pronunciation rules. Some regional accents may come up. Generally considered a pleasant language due to its euphonic qualities. The phonetic structure is designed to be simple and consistent, with a limited range of sounds that often resemble those found in many European languages. This contributes to melodic and harmonious flow when spoken. The absence of irregularities in pronunciation and grammar. The Esperanto rhythm, stress, and intonation is generally considered a syllable-timed language. Stress is placed on the second to last word, second to last syllable. Intonation is typically follows the same patterns found in other languages. Mal, opposite. Re for return. Ek, the beginning of an action. For example, to dance, to start dancing. Okay. The beginning of an action. The beginning of an action. If I don't, I'm sure I'm going to have stuff for the beginning of actions. Oh, child, for adjectives, for adverbs. Yeah, that does make it super simple. See, that's almost more straightforward. Maybe we could. Some, a for adverb, adjective, verb, noun, etc. to make that part easy. Where you might have sing, but then you would need a way to note that you are using it as a verb. So yeah, I think using affixes is the best way to accomplish this. Inflection. For example, the suffix, I forget, I don't think that's je. To form libro, libroge, verb ending change based, as is als. Yeah. How you're gonna have to combine this to also express verb tenses. Okay, so the root word, or they have root words. Systematic approach. That's, again, a big inspiration. New words are formed through compounding. School infano to create lerne infano. Lernege infano. School child. The root inventory consists of about 2,000 unique root words. Interesting. For example, the prefix mal denotes opposition, bona means good, while malbona means bad. Inflection. Oh, so there's 2,000 root words. because those are like root words, then you can just, and they always end in a vowel or whatever, then you can just change the vowel. That makes it really, really easy. But that's why it's so simple though. And that's not quite what I'm going for. SVO. Esperanto addresses pragmatics through its flexible word order. Ambiguity is minimized by its regular grammar and vocabulary. Time is expressed through verb conjugation. Vocabulary contains about 15,000 to 20,000 root words. So yeah, that's, again, different numbers every time, but I think this isn't going to supplement actually going through and like learning about specific aspects of these things. But like if you wanted to learn specifically about what is the best sentence structure, is it VSO? Is it something else? What are the best syllable combinations? VC, all of that stuff. Like that you're going to figure out because you're going to be looking it up. Like, why does this work better? Like in some languages, in others. Right now, I'm just getting an overview. Okay, this is what languages are using because it is wise to at least see what all's going on. All right, I'm going to keep moving. Ambiguity can occur due to homonyms. Battle can mean hit or beat In a sentence like Lee, the context clarifies that battle refers to a beat on the drum rather than hit. Encourages clarity and precision, the universality, constructed language. Official greetings. Speakers may use a more standardized form of Esperanto. For example, in a formal presentation, I thank you for your attention. While an informal chart, a speaker could say, Dankon, thanks, without further elaboration. Well, that's pretty standard coming from an English speaker. Esperanto has evolved since its creation. I know they included, and I know it got beat down a bit during the World War I. Over time, the language has modernized, incorporating vocabulary and influences to include computer, email, internet, and stuff. Esperanto has also experienced shifts in grammar and usage, adopting more colloquial terms. Esperanto, designed to be a simple language, is very, very regular in the way that nouns end in certain letters and adjectives end in certain letters. I think that is a cool way of doing it. I just don't know exactly how to fit that in with the other self-organizing lexicon strategies that I have. Simple verb conjugation. That makes it so easy. Because if all of your verbs end in A or whatever, if I had to guess, so all of your verbs end in O, perhaps? Okay, so verb endings is just the particular verb ending, like the present tense on top of the noun. So speaks, spoke, will speak. So nice. No gendered nouns. Root words. International influences. The writing system consists of 20 letters. Since its inception, the writing system has remained largely unchanged. It has gained some popularity. The letter C is always pronounced as K. The letter J is always pronounced as Y. The letter G is always hard, as in G. There are no irregular spelling rules. That is so nice that everything is pronounced the same way, too. Mathematical and logical means the well-known Esperanto song La Espero showcases how the language can be set to music. Regular grammar, phonetic spelling. So cultural neutrality. Esperanto reflects the culture and worldview of its speakers. The language is influenced by various factors, number of syllables, I'm basically not going to account. Those are pretty much not accurate, it seems. These are not accurate. SVO, not highly ambiguous. It was created 136 years ago. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Okay, that's Esperanto. So we are getting notes. Let's go to Icelandic, the overview of Icelandic culture. The country is known for its unique traditions, folklore. Language is a northern Germanic language, closely related to Old Norse. It is known for preserving many features of Old Norse that have been lost in other Scandinavian languages. Icelandic cuisine, festivals and holidays, music, art. Conclusion. Icelandic has a relatively rich and phonetic inventory. Typical features simple syllable structures such as the CV structure. Icelandic has a total of 14 vowel sounds, which include both short and long vowels. A, E, I, O, U. The diphthongs are present in the language. Vowel harmony is not a feature of Icelandic, as it is in some other languages. Instead, vowels can appear in any combination without restrictions. Interesting. I wonder if it's going to say that it's not going to sound that nice. Stops, fricative, nasals, liquids, glides. So they can have consonant clusters, 2 or 3 consonants. Phonetic rules has a rich phonetic inventory. Consonant clusters, bl, br, cr, sil, st, voiced and voiceless. Palatalization. Certain consonants are palatized before the front vowels, which can affect their pronunciation. Vowel patterns. Vowel reduction. It's often considered a pleasant language. Melodic quality. Range of vowel sounds. Yeah, I was going to say, some may perceive consonant clusters and specific sounds as harsh. Stress timed is determined by the placement of stressed syllables. Each stressed syllable tends to occur at regular intervals. Slang employs a pitch accent system, which means that the pitch of certain syllables can change the meaning of words. Typically, the first syllable word is stressed and has a higher pitch, while subsequent syllables may have a varying level of stress and pitch. Interesting. Overall stress with an intonation contribute to the quality. Utilizes prefixes. For instance, the prefix O can be added to adjectives to form antonyms. Lively, unlively. Suffixes are used extensively. For masculine, for feminine. Ing, to read. Okay, so they use the ing. That's cool. Infixes in Icelandic are relatively rare. Used in past tense forms of some strong verbs, which can appear between the stem and suffix. Overall, the Icelandic affixation is rich and complex. New words are formed from a process called compounding. So, sun house. The root word inventory consists primarily of unique Germanic root words. Ari can denote a person who performs an action, meaning teacher. Inflection. Standard word order is SVO. The word order is quite flexible due to the language's inflectional nature. Icelandic nouns, adjectives, and verbs are inflected for case, number, gender, and tense. This means that the form of the word changes based on its grammatical role in a sentence. Oh, so that's why word order is not important. So word order is not so important if each word is clearly used, meaning if the word for sun, meaning if you have a word like, anyway, I think I understand what that means. So that's why there can be variations, which all right, Icelandic complex structure is relatively complex. Utilizes a flexible word order. Relies heavily on context, cultural references. Tense is expressed through verb conjugation. Language has a rich vocabulary. Mountain, hill, shame, grief. Talking about ambiguity, but the example they gave wasn't very ambiguous. Language's preservation of Old Norse elements not only serves as communication, but also shapes cognitive processes related to clarity. For example, in informal speech, an Icelander may say, hi. Icelandic has undergone relatively little change compared. Other significant shifts occurred during the 14th to 16th century. Influence from Danish. Complex grammar. Has 4 cases: nominative, accusative, dative, and genitive, which affect nouns, pronouns, adjectives. For example, the word book is bok in the nominative case, but changes to bakar in the genitive case. The inflectional system requires learners to understand how to decline words based on their role in a sentence. Vocabulary. They do combine words to create compound words. Utilizing the modern alphabet consists of 32 letters. One significant evolution in writing was when there was a strong movement to preserve unique features led to the introduction of the diacritics. Largely unchanged. This language has a few unique letters. Which correspond to specific sounds in the language. Letter A is generally pronounced as eh. However, there are some irregulars. AU, letter ow, E, math and programming, Tala, calculation, Jaffna. See, Reich, Ningur. So many letters. So many letters just to express a simple idea. I was just gonna write down like, don't need singing music can be adapted for singing music. Uses alliteration. Complex inflections unique letters, naming conventions. A child of a father named Jean may have the last name Johnson, son of John, or Johnson, John's daughter, daughter of John. Literary heritage, rich literary tradition. Language purism, vowel harmony, where certain vowels influence the pronunciation of other vowels in a word. Yeah, it was a form of vowel harmony. It's not necessarily the most harmonious because it has some of those consonant clusters. Okay, cool. All right. It takes a long time to go through this list. I've only done 1, 2, 3, 4. I've only done 4 languages, and it's been an entire hour and 15 minutes, which is fascinating. Doesn't seem like that useful of a time. So maybe what I'll do instead of doing this all at once is do this gradually. Maybe I'll do it maybe I'll look at a language once a day, which could take a super long time. But yeah, just looking at 4 languages would take an hour. Anyway, I think in terms, my overall thoughts are, this is going to take a long time. This is somewhat valuable. I'm definitely learning stuff that I don't necessarily know beforehand. This AI way of doing it is okay, although I definitely think I should supplement by Googling the Wikipedia and reading that summary first, most likely. A lot of the stuff is repeated. There may be errors. And for the most part, I guess the most part, this exercise is to see what things I should be looking out for. Just make sure that I've systematically looked through all possible languages and really try to see how things are done. That way I'm not overlooking something. Because when it comes to developing an entirely new language that could be the future of humanity, you really don't want to mess up on going through all of the aspects. I mean, this is a big sort of responsibility. Although I do think there will be that self-organizing principle, which will allow the language to evolve and change as needed. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.